Are you unknowingly making climate change worse? A recent study reveals a surprising truth. Many of us drastically misjudge the environmental impact of our everyday choices. You might be diligently recycling, thinking you're doing your part, while overlooking far more significant contributors like owning a dog. Yes, you read that right. A study published by the National Academy of Sciences highlights a critical gap in our understanding of climate change. Researchers discovered that when people were asked to rank various actions based on their impact on the climate, think switching to an electric car, carpooling, or reducing food waste, their assessments were often way off. The study focused on a group of participants in the US. Madalina Vlastyanu, a co-author of the report and professor of environmental social sciences at Stanford University, points out a common misconception. People overassign impact to actually pretty low-impact actions such as recycling and underestimate the actual carbon impact of behaviors much more carbon-intensive like flying or eating meat. And this is the part most people miss. The study found that the top 3 actions individuals can take to help the climate, avoiding plane flights, choosing not to get a dog, and using renewable electricity, were also the 3 that participants underestimated the most. Conversely, actions like switching to energy-efficient appliances and light bulbs, recycling, and using less energy washing clothes, which have a relatively smaller impact, were overestimated. Why this disconnect? Vlastyanu suggests that marketing plays a significant role. We're constantly bombarded with messages about recycling and energy-efficient light bulbs, but rarely hear about the climate consequences of flying or pet ownership. Jiang Zhao, who teaches psychology and sustainability at the University of British Columbia, adds another layer. Our brains are wired to prioritize what's visible and frequent. You can see the bottle being recycled. That's visible. Whereas carbon emissions, that's invisible to the human eye. So that's why we don't associate emissions with flying, she explains. Recycling is a daily habit for many, while flying is less frequent, leading us to overestimate its importance. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue that focusing on individual actions distracts from the larger issue of corporate responsibility. Brenda Equisel, a climate scientist with the nonprofit Union of Concerned Scientists, notes that some companies promoted their recycling efforts while concealing the pollution generated by their overall operations. There's been a lot of deliberate confusion out there to support policies that are really out of date, she says. So, what makes owning a dog so environmentally impactful? It boils down to meat consumption. Dogs, especially larger breeds, eat a lot of meat, and meat production is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Farm animals, particularly cattle, release methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Beef production is especially problematic because cattle are often raised on land cleared through deforestation. Since trees absorb carbon dioxide, cutting them down to raise cattle creates a double whammy for the climate. Zhao emphasizes, people just don't associate pets with carbon emissions. That link is not clear in people's minds. However, responsible pet owners can mitigate their dog's impact by choosing food made from less carbon-intensive protein sources like seafood or turkey. Flying, on the other hand, emits significant amounts of carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxides, and also produces contrails, which trap heat in the atmosphere. A round-trip economy-class flight from New York to Los Angeles generates over 1,300 pounds of emissions per passenger. According to the International Civil Aviation Organization, skipping that single flight is equivalent to abstaining from all meat for a year or going car-free for over 3 months, according to UN estimates. The good news? We can learn from our mistakes. The study showed that when participants were educated about the true impact of different actions, they were more willing to commit to more effective climate-friendly behaviors. People do learn from these interventions, Vlastyanu said. After learning, they are more willing to commit to actually more impactful actions. Ultimately, the most impactful individual climate decisions involve how we heat and cool our homes, and the types of transportation we use. Switching to renewable energy sources minimizes the impact of both. While recycling is beneficial for reducing landfill waste, its overall climate impact is relatively small due to the fossil fuels used in transporting, processing, and repurposing recyclables. Plus, the EPA estimates that less than 10% of plastics are actually recycled. Similarly, washing clothes in cold water and using energy-efficient light bulbs, while helpful, have a limited impact compared to larger choices like flying or pet ownership. What do you think? Is it fair to place so much emphasis on individual choices when corporations bear a significant responsibility for climate change? And are you willing to reconsider some of your habits after learning about their true environmental impact? Share your thoughts in the comments below.